Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 6 of the podcast about anything, everything, and nothing, sometimes all at the same time. This is Shotgun and Shots.
Welcome.
Well, thank everybody for joining us. This is a podcast where three of us get together, basically just talk about anything. I'm one of your hosts, Jeff. Alongside me is Scott. And of course, the guy he's talking about is Kelly. Hopefully this time we can get our technical issues to work out and we can actually get a video up and everything will go off without a hitch. We're going to knock on some wood for that one.
Well, don't do that. You might mess something up.
Yeah. So three of us gather around every other week or so, basically talk about anything and anything. Who's got their topic they want to start with?
Did you just say anything and anything?
I think I said everything.
Okay. I'll start.
I have been drinking.
Just a little. So this past weekend I was watching a lot of the College World Series. And two things struck me while I was watching it. One is that like literally 95% of every pitcher that I saw was throwing 90 miles an hour or better.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous. And I can remember, like, when I was in college, it was a big deal for a pitcher to hit 90 miles an hour on the radar gun. And now, I mean, I was watching one, I can't remember which team it was, but the pitcher was... They said he was, more of a junk ball pitcher, depended on being crafty in his control, a lot of off-speed pitches and curveballs and breaking pitches. And he threw the first pitch, his fastball was 88 miles an hour. And I'm like, are you shitting me? They used to be a flamethrower when I was playing baseball. But everyone seems to have a 92 to 95 mile per hour fastball. It's like you have to hit 98 or 99 for people to get excited about it anymore. Do you think this is why so many pitchers are having Tommy John surgery and so much trouble at such an early age with their arms now?
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, that's a lot of movement in that arm.
Well, I guess my question is, you were a pitcher, so you have more knowledge on this. But how much? I know throwing junk can really mess your elbow or your wrist or whatever up. But how much does just throwing a straight fastball really affect your arm?
Well, a lot of it has to do with your mechanics and how you throw. But it puts a great deal of stress on your elbow and shoulder, especially if you don't have the proper mechanics, because then you're putting even extra stress on yourself.
But I mean, just the fact that you're throwing 85 to 95 miles an hour, I mean, that means your arm is moving that fast, and just any movement that fast and that hard is going to put a strain on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And to what you were saying about like throwing breaking pitches and stuff, well, you really run into a problem with that. It's when you have kids doing it at too young an age before they're completely developed, where their bones are finished growing, and you can do a lot of damage to your joints, letting like 12-year-olds throw a lot of curveballs and stuff. That's
something that's always been kind of under scrutiny anyway, right? Is teaching too young a kid how to throw, trash.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing now they're coming up with is trying to put pitch count limits on pitchers, even in like high school. Which I can remember when I pitched in high school, we didn't even keep a pitch count.
No, we didn't either. I mean, the only limit they gave us was 9 innings, which rarely ever happened. But a pitcher was limited to 9 innings, and then they had to come out.
Well, I don't even think we had that much. I think there was a state rule in our in the state that was you could only pitch 7 innings in a clip, and then 9 innings for a week.
Well, the only reason I knew that rule at all was because we had one game that went into extra innings, and both pitchers pitched pretty much a full game, pitched full 9 innings, and then they got pulled. And in the 10th inning, I think we might have gone to maybe to an 11th, I don't remember, but both of the starting pitchers got pulled in the 9th inning.
I wondered more if
because of that rule.
Kind of get back to your question, if the Tommy John surgery stuff is it just that is kind of the common surgery, and so not so much that the pitcher needs it, but that just happens to be what they're going to do, to fix it.
Well, the Tommy John actually improves a lot of pitchers too. But I've heard. I can't say that I've heard this happening, but I've heard discussions about will pitchers get Tommy John surgery to be a better pitcher?
Right.
You know, the funny thing is, and I don't know what the technical name for the tendon that they replace in Tommy John surgery is in your elbow, but only was something like 6 or 7% of the population is born without that tendon.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing for a pitcher?
Well, it's good for the pitcher because it means they'll never have to have that surgery.
Okay.
Although I saw a story a couple years ago about a pitcher that didn't have that tendon that had the Tommy John surgery to have that tendon installed in his elbow.
Really?
Yeah, because he thought it would give his arm more stability. I guess the doctors agreed, or they wouldn't have done it. But
now, is it something? Is there a rule or something that says that the pitchers can't wear like a sleeve or something like that on their elbow to help?
No.
Or because it's interesting because like I think your question was, why does this keep happening? Is it because they're throwing all this junk or whatever? But I guess the other part of it is are they or can they do something to prevent it?
Yeah, I'm not sure about like a sleeve. I know you can't wear any kind of like a supportive brace or anything on your arm, but I'm not sure about a sleeve or anything like that. I'm not sure you'd be allowed to wear anything that would give you a substantial amount of structural support in your arm.
Yeah, I mean, just a regular sleeve, of course you can wear, but I mean, as far as
I was thinking like those what are they the copper. Whatever, the copper sleeve. You seen those things?
No.
I'm surprised that none of that. I haven't seen any of the pictures or anything. Where that medical tape. Like you see a lot of volleyball players and stuff.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that too. But
well, even the bands that the football players wear.
Oh
yeah.
All that band is for.
It might be too restrictive on the arm for you to throw because you need so much flexibility in there to be able to throw. Another thing I wonder is, like I said, it used to be rare that you see a pitcher throw over 90 miles an hour, and now it's common.
Yeah. What's
changed? What exactly in the last 20 years? What has changed that suddenly almost every pitcher is throwing over 90 miles an hour now?
Maybe it is the mechanics. Maybe they've learned, the right way to do it, so that it doesn't really hurt you as quickly or as badly.
Yeah, I don't
think we're gonna have video.
Well, it's not so much of a not so much of a hurting you. It's,
wearing you down, whatever.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it's mechanics. You can go back and look at someone pitching 30 years ago and go back and look at pitchers today, and the mechanics of it's not that different. And I don't think they've discovered some miracle way of throwing the ball that allows you to add 7 or 8 miles an hour to your fastball.
I think the first thing that popped into my head was more like a genetic evolution type of thing, where, you look at any of the past baseball players, back in the 50s or 60s when they were throwing, they probably wouldn't even getting up to 60 miles an hour on their fastballs, and now that's ridiculously slow. But
even back then, they had some pitchers that could break 90, could throw up. I think the first pitcher to break or hit 100 was in the 50s. So it's not something that has never been done before the 80s or something. It's just that the percentage of pitchers that do it now is so much higher.
Do you think the weightlifting and people today do a lot more weightlifting and
just overall nutrition?
Nutrition and especially in a position like a pitcher and quarterback and stuff like that, they do a lot more to help themselves in strength.
Well, I think it has to have something to do with better fitness and better training. To like what you said about evolution. Evolution usually doesn't occur over a 30 or 40 year period. That's usually, it's not impossible that you couldn't just be at that point where it happens, but it's kind of unlikely. But I would assume that it's got a lot to do with evolution, with physical fitness, with nutrition, with training, and with maybe how young they start. and how much they play now. I mean, like, because
Oh,
when I was a kid, we played, I don't know, maybe a 3-month season. I mean, 3 or 4 month season during the summer, summer, when school was out. And now they play year round. I've got a cousin, that plays.
Playing fall ball.
Plays fall ball and summer leagues,
ball.
travel ball. He's on like 2, 3, or 4 different teams. He plays, all year round. And I wish I could have done that.
Yeah, I've got a neighbor who, his kid plays ball, and they went to like it was almost like an all-day festival of baseball. Basically, they went out there, and I think he said that they played something like either 7 or 9 games in one day.
Wow!
I mean, it's ridiculous what these little leagues are doing, and even that one kind of blew my mind. I was like, I don't know why you would put your kid through all that stuff. I mean, he was literally gone the entire day. He was up, first things that morning, and he didn't get home until like 9:00 that night. I mean, he was gone the entire day watching them play baseball. And I was just like, that's ridiculous. Now, granted, it was a tournament, so, it wasn't like a, just straight,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, as far as the child is concerned, I'm sure he had a blast, though. I mean, I would have loved to play baseball all day when I was young.
Yeah.
But
I guess that kind of depends on the kid.
well,
When I played Little League, we had kids, like myself, that I loved playing baseball. That's all I wanted to do. I could have played 24 hours a day. I'd have been happy. And we had kids that basically their parents dropped them off as baby, and we were babysitters.
Right.
And
Yeah.
They didn't really care about being out there at all.
Yeah.
So the second question I had from watching the College World Series is a thing that I noticed is these hitters, they don't even attempt to get out of the way of a pitch at all. I actually saw one batter get hit in the head, in the helmet with a fastball, and he didn't even try to move. He just stood there and took it.
No,
And I mean, it hurt him. He had to come out of the game too. He probably got a concussion out of it, but he didn't try to get out of the way of it. None of them do. They teach them not to.
They used to have a rule in college baseball in general that if you did not attempt to get out of the way, then you were not given the base.
Well, they have that rule at the pros, and it probably holds in college too. That especially if you lean into a pitch and get hit and try to get hit.
Right.
The pros do have that rule,
But I don't believe you don't have to move out of the way.
do the pros have a rule where you have to try and move out of the way?
No.
No, see,
No, they have a rule you can't. They have a rule you can't lean into it. But I don't think college or pros either one have a rule that you have to get out of the way.
I thought college did have that rule at one point. I don't know if they've changed it or not. But somebody, and maybe it was Little League World Series that I was watching that had that rule or something. I remember watching something where they would not give the batter the base when they got hit because all they did was just stand there and not attempt to get out of the way.
Well, I think the hardest part of that is determining what is getting out of the way. There's a lot of them that you see the guys take the hit in the back, and all they do is just spin around. They're not actually attempting to move out of the way of the ball. They're just turning their body. Now, part of that may be because that ball's coming at them at 90 miles an hour, and there's just not enough time to react like that.
But if you're standing there and not moving at all, I mean, not even twisting to,
yeah, I mean,
let it hit you in the back, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, pretty blatant, know, I could understand, but...
So if you were a batter playing in the College World Series, the guy's throwing 93, 94 miles an hour, and you see a ball coming straight in for your rib cage, would you just stand there and take one for the team so you can get on base, give you a chance to, hopefully give your team a chance to score a run and advance in the tournament, or would you get the hell out of the way, which would be a natural human instinct?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be a natural instinct to try and get out of the way. And I think there's going to be a couple things that I'm going to have to take into account. One is the pitcher. If he's throwing 90 plus miles an hour, I'm probably going to try and get out of the way, at least some. Maybe try and let it hit me in the arm instead of the ribs. At least. But
protect it in some form.
Yeah, but I might let it hit me in some form to get that base.
I think a lot of it is, like I said, your natural tendency is going to be to flinch or to move out of the way, or at least protect yourself. So it kind of turns into that thing of, do you just turn your body to try and take the shot? Me personally, I don't think I could just stand there and take it. It was, even if I knew it was coming, I could suppress that ability, but I don't think I would. I think I would still do something to protect myself, especially when you're talking about getting hit in the ribs, by 100 mile an hour or 90 mile an hour fastball. I mean, that's a lot of damage that can be done right there, and it's one of those. I think I'd rather take it to the arm or the hip or something else. That dude taking it to the head that's borderline stupid.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
pretty dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, you can duck and miss that ball pretty easily, and I mean it's better. It's better for the team that you don't get hit in the head and get injured and get taken out of the game.
Right.
I mean,
unless he was put in specifically for that reason,
right?
They kind of have like the enforcers in hockey where they're specifically put out there to get into fights and stuff like that. If you gotta, which I'd hate to be that guy. Like, we're gonna pinch hit you just so you can get cracked in the skull with the baseball. No matter where he throws it, you don't move. like, no, thank you, sir. Of course, that would be my job because I can't hit for.
Well, you can always find a reason to be out there.
I'll be an awesome fielder. So anyway, it looks like we're not going to have video on this one.
Yeah.
Apologize to our fans again, all 4 of you.
We're gonna have to figure that out. I
Yeah.
don't understand what the deal is with the video.
We'll keep working on that, and if anything does save, we'll upload it. But otherwise, you'll probably be looking at a bunch of pictures again.
Hey, the pictures are good though.
Yeah, I agree.
They're funny.
Yeah. So
They're a pain in the ass.
a
But
change in the topic. Feels like we didn't.
I believe so. I believe we've exhausted that topic, so
No, it didn't last
now
very
we shall
long.
move on to the next one.
Who's going next? Keller, you want yours?
ooh, that was loud. My topic is pretty simple. Just if you could choose to add one talent to your repertoire, what would it be? Is there anything that you wish you could do that you're not able to do or can't do for whatever reason?
I think one thing that I always kind of wished I could do is draw. I wish I were a better artist than what I am. Mainly because I like comic books and all the superhero stuff. That's no surprise to anybody. And just seeing what these people can do with a pen or a pencil or anything is amazing talent, amazing ability. Some of that may be because my job requires some form of drawing. Nothing near artistic, but being able to see somebody who can just grab a pen and have an image in their mind and then put that image on paper is fascinating to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's fascinating to me too. I mean, whenever I do try that, it just what I see in my head and what comes out of my hand, just two totally different things, and not even close to what I was picturing. And when I see somebody who can do it, it just makes me.
Well, it's one of those things too that when I was in art class, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything that we did in art class, and I was always really good at if I could reproduce something. So if I saw a picture sitting here, I can draw that picture. But to freehand a picture was beyond me. Like, I couldn't do that. It's the same thing. I have this great mental image, but when I start to put it on paper, it just doesn't come out that way. Now, part of it may be an educational thing. If these people who are artists have learned how to draw, that's all they did was draw, and so it's an experience plus, teachers showing them what, types of materials and stuff to use in order to produce what it is that they're actually wanting to do. So, but beyond all that is still just that raw talent that they have.
Yeah. My mom is actually a pretty good artist. She ever show you all her paintings? She got a art set for Christmas. Now she actually has a degree, some sort of degree in some sort of art degree. I don't know exactly what, but she painted. She was an art teacher for a little while and stuff like that, and then she quit. She says 50 years ago. I think it wasn't quite 50, maybe 40, maybe 48. But
argue over that 2 years.
Either way,
that lying bitch.
either way, she went a very long time without ever painting or picking, doing anything. And then we got her a kit of paints and easel and canvases and brushes and stuff for Christmas this year. And so she picked it up for the first time in 50 years, and I mean, it just went right back to her. I mean, she's just, I mean, it's a gift people have.
I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. That's not a joke. I really can't. And people that can paint or draw, especially like I said, freehand, right out of their imagination, as a talent I can't even understand. I mean, I can't even begin to fathom what the process is to do it. Well, I wish I could too. I'd love to be able to.
The weird part of it is if I had that talent, I don't know what I'd do with it. Like I don't know if, like I wouldn't be a professional artist. I don't think I would become, I would draw comics or anything like that. I don't know that I would do anything with it, but it's just one of those things that'd be kind of cool to have.
Dude, if I could draw or paint, I'd do it all the time.
Yeah,
I'd love doing that.
Go on TV and
that's like the one artistic.
Make happy little trees.
That's like the one artistic thing that I can't do with drawing. I just cannot do that at all.
I think I did see that one. So if you had, if you could pick a talent, what would it be, Scott?
If I could have any talent,
yep.
Can I have a talent back? I'd love to be able to. I'd love to still be able to pitch the way I used to pitch before I got injured. That's what I want.
Throw 90 miles an hour.
That's a talent. That's a talent that I used to have that I wish I still had.
Yeah, that would be a good one to have. I mean, 90 plus miles an hour pretty much is going to get you a job nowadays.
At least give you a chance.
Yeah, I mean, give you a job somewhere, not necessarily in the show, but
yeah. I could have made a career out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that one's kind of hard to beat just because it is a baseball thing, and anything that would help me play baseball, I would love to do. But I want to be able to sing. Y'all know I love to sing. I love to sing, but I don't have that voice.
Yeah. So a little background. We played Rock Band and other games that involved any type of singing, and sometimes even just riding in the car. And we had to basically devise a rule that was Keller cannot sing. Like, not cannot as in doesn't have the ability, but like cannot as in not allowed.
We don't even allow Keller to hum a song.
But I do. I mean, I love to sing, and I would love to be able to sing well enough to get up on stage and sing in front of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That's one thing I've always kind of felt like I wanted to do, but it's not going to happen.
No.
Well,
I mean, I'm not going to be able to draw for a living. And,
no, it's never going to happen.
One thing, we were talking about this Sunday at brunch with some friends. One of the guys that was there is actually, y'all need to come out to brunch at the bar one night.
We don't make enough money to go to brunch. I'm sorry.
You are one white bastard.
It's bottomless mimosas too.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, what? Yeah. Yeah. I don't make enough money to listen to this conversation.
But one of the guys that was out there is the lead singer for a band. Now, all he does is sing. And then they also had a guy on the stage, just ambient music. He was singing and playing guitar, and we got talking. That's something that would be two talents, but playing guitar and singing, just to be able to do both at the same time, I would really, really love to be able to do.
Oh yeah, I mean we've tried, playing the guitar and stuff like that. It doesn't work. Our fingers don't have that ability. You know, and that amazes the stuff that people do with guitars amazes me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, having tried it, I mean, granted, I didn't try it for a year or anything like that, even, but it makes me just wonder how these people don't take 20 years to be able to play a song. I was covering the door up there and talking to the guitar player, and he was sitting there practicing. Before they actually went on stage, he was just kind of
warming up.
Yeah, running through the song with no sound coming out, just playing on guitar. And I said, "How long did it take you to learn that?" I said, "I just picked it up in a couple of days or so." I was like, "Yeah, bullshit." I'm like, you had to practice that for like weeks or months even to get it. I mean, it's one of those. It was a solo, where his fingers are just moving nonstop. And to me, I don't understand how you make. I can get my fingers to move that fast, but not where it sounds, makes any sound.
Yeah, not where they're supposed to be. Well, and even that is an amazing talent in itself. You have people out there that can play a guitar, but they can only play what other people have written. So just the ability to be able to write music,
absolutely,
is an amazing talent.
Absolutely, it is.
To pick up, not only be able to pick up guitar and know where to put your fingers and where to strum, but know which notes to put together that actually make an awesome melody or whatever. I mean that's another talent that just kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, I have a lot of kind of natural musical talent. I always have. I believe if I'd have took up guitar when I was young, that I'd probably be able to pick it up. It's probably pretty good at it. At this age, I probably could still do it, but it'd be a lot harder. It'd take me a lot longer. But I'd have to have lessons. I'd have to have someone teach me. I couldn't just figure it out on my own.
Well, I think that's part of it too. Like we play these games and stuff like that, and it gives you kind of a way of learning. But I think it's different if you actually had somebody physically standing right next to you, kind of telling you what.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to make a difference. Now, playing that Rocksmith game, the guitar, for me, it's just way too hard. I mean, the chords moving up and down the neck with the chords, I can't do for some reason. When I picked up the bass, though, it's a lot easier, and I think it's because you aren't really playing chords; you're playing more of a one note at a time thing. But yeah, I mean, even on the bass, I feel just having somebody tell you what you're doing wrong and telling you the correct way to do it, because there's probably several things that I do the wrong way, would be a lot very helpful.
Killer slapping the bass.
Slapping the bass.
But you played an instrument.
Yeah. I mean,
if you set someone down who's never played a trap drum set before, they think it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah. I mean, that might make a difference too, just having a little bit of background. I mean,
well, no, my point is though that all the instruments seem ridiculous to try to learn if you've never played them before. I mean, the trap drum set seems like it's ridiculous. I'm sure if I tried to teach one of you to play the trumpet, you'd think that's crazy. There's no way. How can you do that?
I actually played trumpet.
Once you learn it, it's simple.
I played trumpet in 9th grade for about 9 weeks.
Oh, you made it longer than me.
Oh yeah,
I only had 2. I was like, okay, I'm done.
I went to the first report card, and that's when I quit.
Yeah, I think I was out from the beginning because I wanted to play sax, and the saxes were gone, and
I never really wanted to be on trumpet either.
Yeah, I didn't buy into it.
Yeah.
I probably, if I would have done drums or something like that, I might have stuck with it a little bit longer. I can't say that I would or wouldn't. I've always been more of the athletic type anyway, so I don't. Yeah, wasn't one for the arts. I was more of a sports player.
Just the theory of music was always made sense to me. Like I learned to play trumpet. After I learned to play trumpet, I could play pretty much any brass instrument.
Yeah, well,
and converting from treble clef to bass clef was no problem for me. It was easy to do.
Yeah, I mean all those.
With the exception of trombone, that's a completely different animal.
Well, I mean all the valve instruments are pretty much very similar anyway.
Oh, great! Now everybody who plays a valve instrument is going to be cussing us out.
Yeah, that's the truth. If you can play a trumpet, you can pretty much learn to play a French horn or a baritone. It's not that big of a difference.
Tuba,
sousaphone.
Sousaphone. Why is it in the marching band it's always the smallest motherfucking people playing marching the sousaphone?
You know, see, I was going to say this. I didn't want to bring up names, but Michelle's son he learned trombone, and he's been playing tuba in concert band, and he wants to march sousaphone. Now, he is the smallest person in his class, and he's in 7th grade. So, I mean, he's like 4'6", probably, wanting to march a sousaphone.
It'll make him strong. It'll give him a lot of lower body strength.
Yeah, his mom doesn't want him doing it. I don't want him. I told him I wouldn't march the sousaphone. I'd march marching tuba. The actual tuba, not the sousaphone, just because I don't like sousaphones.
Do you have a marching band? What would you call that?
I don't know.
Not formations, but a performance. A marching band performance that kind of sticks out in your mind is like one of your favorites.
Oh, absolutely.
Which one?
Well, are you talking about?
I mean, you know, we've all seen the ones that Ohio State did, you know, stuff like that, which are really cool. But
those aren't even in my top
I mean,
5.
more like ones that maybe you've seen in person.
Okay, those aren't even in my top 5. Ohio State. See, what you probably don't know is there's a series called DCI, Drum Corps International, which is a marching band for people 14 to 21 or 22. I can't remember the.
Wow, I can literally hear our audience clicking off.
It's
You're closing this out right now.
It's a very nerdy thing, but it's also very popular too, and they travel the country and do competitions and stuff like that. And actually, one of my favorite marching band shows was Irmo High School in '89 did a Miss Saigon show. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
It was incredible. It was a great show. But some of my other major favorites from the DCI was the Blue Devils did a jazz show that was really kind of sexual. I mean, the guard was.
That's not the word I expected.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guard was doing. I mean, they were on TV. They showed the stuff on TV at the time, and they would not show the guard on TV because they were with some of the stuff that they were doing. Plus, Carolina Crown about 3 years ago did a Bohemian Rhapsody and Queen kind of show that was one of my favorites. So those are probably my top 3 that right there that I remember.
It's funny how Queen will evoke.
My favorite, my all-time favorite, the one that always sticks out in my mind is the Civil War show that Fort Mill did.
I remember that one too.
My senior year, that
one
was incredible.
Really good, really good.
I mean, as far as performance-wise, you know, and you can't compare it to the DCI stuff because they're just a high school.
Right,
but just the show itself and the idea behind it and the way they performed it and the marching and all was just an incredible show. Yeah, very emotional.
That one was actually, I was thinking of that one too. That was, I think I saw that one at the Burns competition too. It was a really, really good show.
And then I saw one a couple of years ago. I saw it on YouTube. I might have sent it to you, maybe. I think I might have sent it to both of you. I can't remember what band it was. It did a video game themed.
Yeah, that was Ohio State.
Was that Ohio State?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Ohio State's their performances are like next level. It's amazing the stuff.
Ohio State, yeah, they do. They have a really good band in general, best damn band in the land. But I'm not a big fan of the Ohio State in general. So fuck them.
Well, yeah, it's funny. We're all going to the high school level. I guess that was when we were impressioned. Mine was the Batman show that Burns did. I don't know. I don't remember what year it was, but it was off of the 1980s Batman. And
now, there was a lot of Batman stuff done around that time.
Oh,
too.
yeah. My favorite show that we did was The Wizard of Oz.
I don't know.
It was just better. It was just the best show that we did.
Yeah,
I thought.
So you were a few years ahead of me. And
Wizard of Oz would have been 91.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would have been my freshman year.
Yeah, 92 we did West Side Story.
West Side Story. That was the Cadets of Bergen County did a really good West Side Story show, probably about the same time.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I don't. It just wasn't as strong a show. Wasn't as strong a marching as what we did in Wizard. Of course, your one state was in '88. We did the patriotic one. Really, we did we did the Western and patriotic. We did Silverado, Magnificent Seven, and God Bless the USA.
Yeah, we did a Western show.
And then we had to do God Bless the USA in every fucking parade I did for 4 fucking years.
Yeah, I hated parades.
I did too. I didn't show up for most of them.
Yeah, our band director didn't like doing parades, so we got just doing one a year.
Y'all ever do any big parades?
No. The closest we did to a big parade was the Disney parade at Magic Kingdom. I think that's where it was.
Yeah, we did that one year.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing we ever did.
We did the Macy's Day Parade one year while I was there, and they did the Rose Bowl Parade
Answer a question for
a
me.
year or two after I graduated.
Answer a question for me. When's Macy's Day?
I don't know.
You just said you did the Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah, I don't remember when it was.
You don't remember what day Macy's Day is?
I don't know. Was it Thanksgiving? Is that the Thanksgiving Day Parade?
It's the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Oh, okay.
People call it Macy's Day Parade all the time.
Yeah.
And that's a joke just to get people to caught off guard.
Well, Macy's Day is more important than Thanksgiving.
I couldn't remember what holiday they did it on. I couldn't remember if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas. But it's time. Yeah, that's what reminded me of Thanksgiving because they always finish it with Santa Claus.
Yeah, it is. It's the Thanksgiving Day Parade, but I don't know. Somebody got me on that one time. I've said the Macy's Day Parade too, and they got me. I was like, Macy's Day. When is Macy's? Oh shit!
Damn it! You said something. I had something I was going to say, and I forgot what it was. But
Must have been really important.
it was. It was when you were talking about the parades or something. It probably had something to do with so you think you could dance or dubstep.
Oh God, no! Let's don't start that anymore. Hey, this is a shout out for one of our listeners out there. Twilight sucks.
It sucked then,
It
and it
sucks
sucks now.
now. It will suck 10 years from now when they remake it.
Staying out of this.
Okay.
They remake it.
Yeah, you know that's gonna happen.
Oh God, I hope not.
You know it will. Okay, so let's move on to our next topic.
Wow,
I
we're
believe
burning right through them.
Well,
tonight,
I believe
so.
we have exhausted that one.
Yeah, we exhausted that one 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Salute.
Wow. Getting too old for that.
All right, so we're on to the third topic.
And that would be for you, Jeff.
It's usually the last one. So this may be a really short show. We were burning through these things, but
Now we'll come out with something else.
mine was, let's say you win the lottery or, get some sort of massive inheritance or whatever it is. Whatever.
All right, I won the lottery.
You know,
I said it. Is that it? Are we done?
sure. Okay. I told you we'd go through it quickly.
All right.
Okay, anyway. So you're set for life, but you have to perform a menial task for at least 8 hours a day. What would the task be? And you don't get paid for it.
See,
It's
this
just
is
something that you have to do in order. Say,
every single day.
yeah.
8 hours a day, 7 days a week, or do you get the weekends off?
Yeah, you get your weekends off.
Okay.
We'll say it's more like
It's a job.
A job. Yeah.
You have a job.
It's
You have
not
to
a-
do-
But it's a menial job. It's
Right.
You're not owning your own business or anything like
Yeah,
that.
let's say you get money, but it's not really enough to do anything with, and
But you run the lottery, so it doesn't matter. Anyway.
right, exactly. You don't have to worry. Money is not the issue.
You're like a Forrest Gump and just cut the grass all day. And there's my answer.
Yeah, so you
You cut grass.
Cut
all-
grass.
8 hours
See,
a day.
Well, see, that's why I was sitting there saying every day. I mean, you can't cut the same grass every day.
Well, it wouldn't have to be the same grass. You have your own kind of lawn care business, and,
But that wouldn't
or you
exactly
work
be-
for a lawn care business, but you don't own it.
Yeah.
Because you might have to do weed eating and stuff too. But
Yeah, and I guess that's where the question comes in, because like, if you're set for life, do you really want to be sweating outdoors all day? Trying to cut grass and
Oh, and what if it rains or snows?
yeah, you don't get paid that day.
But
course,
you
yeah.
can't skip it. You
Yeah.
got to
Yeah,
do it
you
8
gotta do
hours
it.
a day, 5 days a week. So
Exactly.
you're out there cutting snow.
Yeah, so maybe cutting grass isn't the best
No,
job to
probably
think
not.
of.
Probably out like shoveling some driveways or something on those days. That wouldn't be any fun.
No, I wouldn't.
Of course, cutting grass wouldn't be any fun to me, but
I guess if you wanted to pick something, I'd probably pick something like indoors.
well, all right. Let's be more specific, Jeff. What would you pick?
The first thing popped into my head was being more like in the janitorial range of sweeping floors.
Ooh.
Or
You could be the janitor from Scrubs.
yeah, there you go. Like go around and do really crappy repairs in the hospital.
You could be the janitor from Goodwill Hunting and solve complex mathematical equations in your off time.
Something that doesn't really. And I hate to say stuff like that because it makes it sound like janitors have menial jobs, but in all honesty, I can't say that.
Well, by definition, they do have menial jobs. Yeah. That is kind of the definition of a menial job.
I can't say that if I got paid what I get paid now to be a janitor, that I wouldn't be one. I'd probably take it. I doubt there's very much stress in being a janitor. So.
Not stress. There'd be some really, literally shitty things you'd have to do.
Well, yeah, literally.
Literally, yeah. Of course, that didn't bother you. It wouldn't be that bad of a job.
So what would you do?
I go along the lines that I wouldn't want to do anything physical, outdoors or physical. A lot of that has to do with my my physical state, I suppose. But I wouldn't want to do anything physical. So I would choose. I'd be a film critic. That's as menial a job. By definition, that is a menial job. It is unimportant. It doesn't take a great deal of skill. 8 hours a day, sitting in a movie theater, watching movies.
He cheated.
Hey, you can call it cheating if you want to. I call it intelligence.
I changed my answer.
Come on, you got to admit that's a great answer.
It is.
That's a good answer.
I'd want to test video games.
There you go. That's a great one too.
Work for IGN.
Before you said that, I was sitting here thinking like programming. Just sitting at a computer for 8 hours a day would be kind of suck, but not as good as watching movies.
That makes me think of that new show, *Halt and Catch Fire*. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's on AMC. It's a new series that started up, and it's interesting to watch. And I think the three of us would enjoy watching it, and anybody in our age group would probably enjoy watching it. Anybody younger than us probably isn't going to like it, mainly because it takes place in the 80s. The first episode actually takes place in 1980, and it's actually better than what I thought it was. I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be about, but it's mainly about a guy that worked for IBM, and he left, got fired. They haven't hit on that yet, but he no longer worked for IBM and went to like a competitive company and kind of slick talked his way to the owner to get him a job, and then he found a guy that had written an article on programming, and got that guy to help him reverse engineer an IBM computer. And back at that time, IBM, it was kind of like IBM and Apple were the two main computer companies. They kind of had the lock on everything. Like they don't now, but
yeah, it was like kind of like today,
but it was really cool that they go in and they reverse engineer this IBM computer, and the guy that slick talked his way into the job has this kind of open mind about what computers can be, what they can do, and things like that. And he's trying to get other people to buy into his idea, and he's talking this guy into it, and then he gets like a programmer and gets her to join on too. And the first episode basically just gets where he kind of formed that little team, and of course as soon as the little hassles start to pop up, that's when the show ended. But going back to what you were talking about being a programmer, kind of seeing that guy that popped into my head when you said that, and he just hated his job. He's sitting there at his desk day in and day out, almost like what's his name from Office Space,
yeah,
doing TPS reports.
Yeah, sitting in a cubicle writing code all day would be hell for me. I hate that.
I think you mentioned this last week or some. the show Silicon Valley?
Yes, yeah. That description reminds me a lot of Silicon Valley, except for it's a 30-minute comedy.
Did you see the ultimate dick joke that they did?
Was it on this past week's episode? Because I haven't watched this past week yet.
It may have been, I don't know which episode it was on, but it's hilarious.
I don't remember it off the top of my head, so maybe it is this past week and I haven't seen it yet.
They're talking about...
So I'd rather you not tell me.
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Should I leave the room for a second?
I'm not going to tell you the whole joke. I mean, the whole thing
You'll
is set
fuck it up anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The whole thing is set up about jerking off a room of people, and they just start going off into this tangent that within the show's reality, it lasts 2 hours. They're talking about this dick joke for 2 hours, basically, in the show. I won't get any further into it than that because I don't want to give anything away. But
I was reading somewhere about that show that that character that was on The Office that's on that show. Have you seen the show?
The actor?
Yeah, the actor.
Yeah.
Not the actual character from The Office
migrating
to this show, but the actor that played him.
That's what I was thinking. This isn't a spin-off of The Office.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He died midway through filming it, so he's on the end of the first half of this season.
I didn't know he was dead.
Yeah, and I was reading about how they talked about how that really hurt the show, kind of, because they had to scramble to rewrite the second half of the first season around the fact that he was no longer going to be there.
Who was the character?
I don't remember his name. I'm terrible with names.
I want to say it was
the character or the actor. I'm terrible with names.
No, it's not.
I haven't seen
it's not him.
much
It's not
of The
Toby.
Office, but
I can't remember the name.
Go to IMDb and look up Silicon Valley, and I can tell you which one it is.
Yeah.
not that I know the actors from on the Office or anything, but I've seen enough of them that I kind of wondered if
he was in the later later seasons. It was because he was the one that came in when Kathy Bates' character, that company bought out the company and took over the office.
I wanted to say he was there before that, but it could be. I don't remember.
I'm going to say he was like her assistant, or he was the one that was appointed by that corporation to be over that branch or something. Yeah, that's him, Zach Wood.
Wow. Do you know how he died?
No, I don't. I don't have any idea.
Are you sure he's dead?
It could very possibly be that the article I read was wrong, but I know it said he
was
had
it
died.
on the internet?
No, it was in a book I read.
Oh. If it's in a book, it's probably true.
It says he's filming.
Like I read books. Like I read. It was the obituaries in the newspaper that I saw. Yeah, it was on. Yes, it was on the internet, Jeff. Yes.
Never been much to believe that newspaper thingy. I mean, anybody could print whatever they want in that. Yeah. So,
Yeah, maybe.
how are you supposed to believe
Go on
it?
Google and look up. Why don't you look up like Zachary Wood's death and see what comes up?
Was it The Onion you were looking at?
TMZ.
What is that? What word was that you just put in?
Tomato.
Man killed in crash.
There-
No, that's not him.
There was a Zachary Woods that died in a crash.
God rest him.
In graduate student. Well, maybe this is wrong. Maybe it's not true then, because there's certainly anything on it right there.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe the person who wrote the article saw the name and thought it was.
Maybe that's not the character they were talking about that died.
No,
but
maybe.
I know it said I'm sure it said that it was from The Office, the actor that was on The Office. Unless one of the other actors in the show was on The Office too, and I don't remember him.
Well, maybe they did like a
Cameo or something.
guest
Yeah,
spot or something.
it's possible.
But that I like it because of the cast. I mean, T.J. Miller, Kamal Johnny.
easy for you to say.
English is tough. English is a tough language.
That's not English.
Me too.
That's
Trouble
like Hindi.
talking.
No, but you're speaking English, and that's a tough language.
Are you sure?
So he's trying. He's attempting to speak English. My bad.
Speaking of English.
But yeah, T.J. Miller is one of my favorite comedians. He's just hilarious.
Have you been watching any of the Last Comic Standing?
Yeah, I didn't watch it last night, but I watched all the other episodes.
Is there anybody on there worth keeping an eye out for?
Well, they're still going.
Or is it too early?
Yeah, it's too early. I mean, they're showing you like 2 jokes or maybe 2 minutes of somebody, so it's really kind of hard to say right now.
The one that gets me, I saw one of the episodes of it. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but it's the one where the guy like sat there for like 30 or 40 seconds and didn't say anything. Did you see any of them?
No, I haven't watched any of them.
He was trying to be Andy Kaufman. Is what he was doing. I mean, and he just wasn't good at it.
Yeah.
I've never.
I don't know how long they get. They only get like a couple minutes.
Probably like 2 minutes, maybe 3.
Yeah.
I've never thought Last Comic Standing was all that great. I've never really liked the setup of it and the way they do the show. It's a good idea.
Well, apparently
poor execution, I think.
Nobody's like the way it's worked because they change it every fucking year. I mean,
well, how many years has it been since they did the last one? It's been at least, I know, 4 or 5 years since the last.
It's been a while. I think Alonzo Bowden won the last one.
I think so.
And that was probably, shoot, I mean, it's at least 5 years ago. I want to say 09 maybe.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah,
Shitty.
I don't watch. That's not one of the ones that I watch. But it's if I happen to catch it, I'll watch it. Last night we watched that Family Game Night or
Hollywood Game
Hollywood Game Night.
I like Hollywood Game Night. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah,
it's another one of those shows. I love the idea of it, and I enjoy the games and stuff. But I hate the presentation of it. It's so corny and cheesy, and
well, that's what
it
sells,
leans so much towards like family entertainment, I guess,
well,
like a
exactly
Disney show or something.
That's what it is. That's
it's horrible.
That's what they want it to be. It's family entertainment.
Yeah, but it's just horrible.
They're not.
They got to be so weird, so outrageously corny about how they do it.
That's what sells. I mean, it sucks, but it's true that corny does sell, especially to that family crowd, and that's what they're going for. I mean, you and I like blue comedy. You know, I mean, that's.
Well, I'm not saying it needs to be blue.
Well, what gets me about it is that the celebrities and stuff that are on there, you can tell they actually are enjoying playing this game, and to me, that's more what makes it entertaining. You know, it'd be different if they were acting like they were enjoying the games,
right.
or
that's kind of what I don't like about it, is the like over the top kind of fake enthusiasm.
I don't think it's fake.
Oh yeah, a lot of it is.
I don't.
Some
think
of
so.
it's not. They're having none
of the ones I've watched,
and that's my whole point. They're having fun doing it. They don't need to put that extra, fake enthusiasm in it, but they do. They add that in there to throw it over the top.
I don't really think it's. I mean, they may be adding a little bit just because the producers are going to tell them, we want action, we want excitement. Play it up, make it a little bigger than it is. And they probably do, but I do think they're generally having fun. And when you get into it, when you're in that competition, it's going to come out.
Right.
You're going to be, ooh.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with the personality of the person, too.
Absolutely, it does.
Some of the celebrities and stuff they've had on there are very competitive, and, so they want to win. Last night when they were doing it, it was the guy, the normal person that was on the team, and the one celebrity. And in one of the games, it was like a charade game or something like that. It was just those two going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it wasn't so much that the others, weren't into the game or anything like that. I think they just struggled trying to figure out what it was. But, it was kind of cool to see. And I think it was Olivia Wilde that was on there one time. And, man, I mean, she was like ready to run people over. And she was hanging halfway out, off of the couch trying to, see the games and stuff like that. And that one was really entertaining to watch. And they put Mario Lopez, or what's his name?
Yeah, last night was Mario Lopez.
Was it Mario Lopez?
Yeah,
they put him on there like all the time, and he always wants to get into an argument with what's her name, the host, and that's more what I don't enjoy. I don't. Yeah. It's almost like he's trying to steal the spotlight away. And you can have your friendly banter back and forth, but it seems like he's trying to direct it more toward him. Like, just because you don't have a career doesn't mean that,
Hey, he does pageants and stuff, doesn't he?
I've never met pageants, so I couldn't ask her.
Speaking of
I'm not.
Speaking of reality shows, one I've been watching recently, and you'll think this is funny, Jeff, because it's on the Food Network.
The greatest network ever.
Is Guys Grocery Games. And I'm not a real big fan of Guy Ferrari, but or the Ferrari, Fieri, yeah. But I like the show. I like the I like the setup and the concept of the show. It's just kind of cool. It takes place inside like a supermarket, and
is it like Supermarket Sweep?
I've never seen that, so I don't know.
Really?
No.
It's like the old school game show where they got to go through the grocery store just shoving shit into their cart when they won.
Well, no, this is their. You have to cook.
They have to cook, yeah.
But but all the ingredients they have to be picked out of the grocery store that he has set up there.
So he's got.
And then there's always some kind of
top tier.
Well, there's always some kind of rule to it. Like sometimes there's like one that the only ingredients they could pick, you had to be either from the top shelf or the bottom shelf of each aisle. Or you had to pick one ingredient from each aisle, or something. Or you can only use 5 ingredients, or something like that. And but the stuff they come up with is just incredible with what they cook.
Yeah,
there's another talent.
Yeah, cooking. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually a pretty good cook. I'm nowhere near that level, but I'm a pretty good cook.
I mean, I can cook stuff that's edible, and if you give me the stuff to put in it, I'll make it. But as far as here's a pile of shit, make some food.
Yeah. I can follow directions.
Yeah, exactly.
I can read the back of the box and make it come out the way it's supposed to.
Right.
But, as far as like just grabbing stuff and going, oh, this shit tastes good with that. No, I can't do that stuff.
Yeah. My problem is I'm a decent cook. I enjoy cooking, like for myself or maybe for my family or for some friends. I'd never want to do it for a career though.
Yeah,
I'd hate doing it if I had to go into work every day and do it for a restaurant or something. I'd hate it.
Yeah. Did you watch any of the American Ninja Warrior?
I saw a little bit. I saw the female was supposed to finish it, and I never did get to see her do it.
Yeah, she's the first one to make it through, and I don't remember what her time was. I know it was pretty long. It was like near 7 minutes or 8 minutes or something. Yeah, and most of it was. I think it's interesting because I don't follow it enough to be able to keep up with why the changes occur, but the course changes.
Yeah,
and
I think it's just as far as the why, I think it's just so that someone doesn't go and practice those specific.
Right, but is it like based on the location? Like this one was in Dallas, I think.
Well, they probably do have slightly different at each location.
But then what happens? So like if you make it through at Dallas, then you go to another location and you compete against people who made it through in Chicago or whatever.
Right. The way I understand it is they had like maybe 5 locations across the country, and they had the people that made it through there then would go to Vegas and do stage 2. And then the people that made it through stage 2 while they were in Vegas would do the final stage.
Because the thing they did was it was like the top 30 people or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a lot of people going to stage 2.
Yeah.
Because you didn't even have to finish stage 1. If you finished, you were automatically going. But, like, based on that count, the remaining people to get to 30 was whoever got the furthest, the fastest.
Right.
And they would fill in the blocks, basically.
Would you
look confused?
Trying to figure out how the hell we got from where we were to here.
Yeah, well, don't even worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about that. It's. I mean, we just.
We're
filling. You said we'd come up with stuff.
I mean, we didn't take an exit off the road. We went over the cliff and then down to the
Made
ocean.
Our own damn exit.
And we down at the bottom now. Aquaman saying hey to us.
We're just.
And we're saying, get the fuck out of here, Aquaman. You suck.
But yeah, she did a pretty good job. And what took her the longest time was they called it the ring toss.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you basically just had to hold these rings, and if you can picture it, you're holding the rings sideways or parallel with your body, and there's posts sticking out perpendicular to you, and you have to hang from those rings and climb the posts using the rings. And it had an incline, and then you had to cross a gap, and it declined, and then cross a gap, and it inclined again in order to get across. And that's where she struggled the most. She actually made pretty decent time up to that.
How did she do on the wall?
She failed the first time. She I think she slipped on like her second step or something the first time going up, and then she got it the second time.
See, that to me would be kind of hard for a lot of women just in size. I mean,
right.
Taller women won't have as much of a problem with it, but a smaller female would have.
Well, that was what they kept saying it over and over again because she was only 5 foot.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, absolutely. If she's 5 foot and made it over, that's a hell of an accomplishment, right there.
But she was a gymnast.
Yeah,
and to me, it's like if you want to win that thing, being a gymnast is probably the best. The best thing you got. So. But apparently, there was a male cheerleader from the Dallas Cowboys that he set the fastest time.
Yeah, I heard that too, and I didn't realize they had male Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders at the time. But they're the ones that hold the flags when they go out running around the field. And
I saw his run, and he blazed through it. I mean, it wasn't, it was no fluke or anything. He flew through the course. There was another guy that came up after him that made him look like a turtle. I mean, he got to the rings, and I think he was at like a minute and a half or something like that when he got to the rings. The guy that came up behind him was at the rings at like 40-something seconds.
Wow.
I mean, he flew to it. And then I went outside or something. I didn't get to see the end of that guy's run, so I don't know if he made it or not. But obviously he didn't beat him because...
Right, that's what I was going to say. I mean, the Dallas cheerleader was the fastest... I want to say the fastest all time in that, but see, that's hard to say because they got different.
Yeah, when you change everything up, I can't see how you can.
Yeah, maybe it was just for that day or something, but
because I mean they got that ring toss thing. I can imagine is pretty tough. The one that I saw before that was more like a pegboard.
Yeah,
that you had to move across. But to me, the harder one of that, and it may be a stage 2, was the one that was they called it cliffhanger, and it just had like a 2-inch ledge that you had to hold on to with your fingertips.
That one is, I believe, that might be one of the Mount Midoriyama or whatever they call it, one of the final things. When you get into the very last section of it, with the hardest part of it, I mean, they get some ridiculously tough stuff.
You can tell most of it is upper body.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They don't really have much that puts stress on your legs, and endurance. The upper body strength and endurance.
Yeah, endurance the whole way through, of course. I wouldn't mind going out and giving some of those things a shot, but I mean, I wouldn't expect to do anything, of course.
I don't know that I'd make it across that quintuple step.
Do it the way the girls do it. I could probably do it.
It'd be like that octopus guy from the original Ninja Warrior, where he'd go out there and he'd always fall on the first.
I think I can make it through that if doing it like the girls do. Just kind of jump on it, hold on, and then turn and jump.
A lot of the guys do it that way too. It's funny. A lot of them do that. I don't know if it's because they changed the distance.
Maybe it's possible.
The one that I miss is that I don't remember what it was called. In Japan, it was like somebody's castle.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was MXC.
Most Extreme Challenge. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I kind of missed that one. And, it was pure entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was one of the funnier shows, just because of the comments and stuff that the guys made, or the people made for the guys, whatever you want to say that one. And some of the challenges they had to do on that thing were just utterly ridiculous.
No, that whole show was utterly ridiculous.
I don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. So
you remember
whatever
that.
you watched Most Extreme.
Did. Absolutely, you had to have.
It had
never.
What was it? Was the captain? I think was I don't remember his name, but the captain was the one that started the whole thing.
I think the only one I ever saw. I think they had one once upon a time on ESPN, didn't they? Like late nights.
Well, this one
that was probably the Most Extreme. I don't know if it was on ESPN, but
I don't think so. But I may be wrong.
Or what about American Gladiators?
Gladiators, I watched that. Yeah. That was when I was a kid. Yeah,
they tried bringing it back, and I guess it just never really took off.
I tried to bring it back a couple times, I think.
Yeah,
it was pretty stupid to begin with.
I like the concept of it. That you get
it's not a bad idea, but you can't pull it off. You can't.
The challenger going against the
There's too many safety issues involved to really just put it out there and have a real competition.
Takeshi's Castle, but the
and then there was the big balls one. That's kind of more on the lines of this. What was that one? John
Wipeout.
Yeah, Wipeout.
Yeah, That one's a lot of fun too. Again, the commentators kind of make it because the stuff that they say is just hilarious.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Well, that's more of an American version of this, really. I think.
yeah.
You don't remember this?
Nope.
Really?
One of my favorite ones was the guy I remember the game was called Sinkers and Floaters, and it was
oh yeah, the
little
stones.
Yeah, it was like a little water patch, and there were stones in it, and some of them were like an actual stone pillar, and then the others were like a floating rock. And the one guy come running down toward it, and before he started, he tried to do a backflip and like just landed straight on his head.
Guy LaDouche.
They said it was Guy, wasn't it?
It might have been Guy LaDouche.
Guy LaDouche. And it's all like overdubbed in American, but nowhere near what they're actually saying. Hey, they're sinkers and floaters. Yeah, I mean, it's just pure entertainment to watch. Laugh at people who are actually trying to do this. And some of these things, like you see the falls, and I don't know how they didn't die. I mean, they're especially like on that.
Captain Tennille.
This is ridiculous.
The sinkers and floaters, they go across it at full speed, and they'd hit one that sank, and and a solid one
right into the solid one.
It's like, man alive, I don't know how they survive that stuff. Some of those ones where it's like the rolling wheel and stuff, they step on it, and you watch them like fold in half, and it's just like, man. Of course, the same thing on Wipeout. You watch those people get crushed by that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, and bouncing on, folding in half backwards off of the big balls.
Yeah, that and the punch wall.
Yeah,
they're walking by us and just get decked. And what gets me is that I think somebody's controlling those, so they know that the guy's standing right there.
Push the button right at the right time.
Yeah, knock the person out. Let's go. Yeah, that was a fun show to watch.
You want to sit here and watch it?
Yeah.
And,
Look, here's your sinkers and floaters. I'm going to start out with that too.
well, to each their own.
Yeah. As long as you keep going, you're all right. But
I think
he's done. Yeah. Yeah. So we struggled through this show. We had technical issues with the camera. We've got
before
topics that didn't go anywhere.
Before you wrap up real quick, have y'all heard anything about Adam Carolla's legal issues?
No.
You ever heard of a patent troll?
Yes.
No. Patent trolls are people who buy patents or create patents based on ideas that they don't really intend to create or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Basically somebody at some time made a patent, something similar to a podcast. And now they're trying to make money off of that and sue Adam Carolla and Mark Maron and people with really successful and popular podcasts, trying to get licensing deals and stuff like that off of them. And so Adam Carolla is suing them, they're suing him for this money and everything. And Adam basically doesn't think that they have a right to it. Basically, that what their description of their patent is not what he sees as a modern podcast. Mm-hmm. So they're going to court for it, and I just wanted to comment. He is paying out of pocket for a lot of this, so he's asking for some help if you want to donate to his legal fund. It's at fundanything.com/patent troll. It's going to help all podcasts, because if he loses and has to pay these patent trolls, then everybody's going to have to.
Right.
So if you feeling generous, go donate a couple dollars to help him out and try and get rid of these scumbags.
Fuck the man.
I just wanted to say that.
I mean, that's kind of the problem with patents in general, is a lot of people do write them to be so vague that it covers this massive amount.
Exactly. And that's pretty much what's going on. I mean, I listened to his podcast today, and he had Mark Cuban on, and Mark Cuban was talking about, but when all the stuff that he created, I can't remember what broadcast.com that he owns right now. When they first started, they're pretty much the ones that came up with streaming, video, audio, and stuff like that. They never even thought to put a patent on it.
Yeah.
Let everybody have it.
Yeah.
But jerks like this or some of these patent trolls are saying, well, if there's no patent on streaming internet, the hell, I'm going to patent it myself and then try and collect off of it. And it's not even their idea.
Yeah. Well, that's what most of them are. Yeah, they don't want to work for the money. They just want the money.
Exactly.
Did you see the Colbert Report, I think it was last week, where he said he was going to apply for a patent on patents? So that every time someone applied for a patent, they had to pay him?
I did see that, yeah, that's right. He did. I forgot he did a story on the patent trolls too. Yeah, but I just wanted to comment on that and just mention it at least.
All right. So if that's something you guys are into or you can help out with, obviously it's going to help us if we continue on with this, and anybody else who's already successful with it. That website again was fundanything.com/patent troll. If you can, please help out. If you can't, continue to listen, and people who can afford it, I guess, will keep doing podcasts. But, this show may not be lasting. But I guarantee you, they come to us asking for money, we're probably shutting down.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot.
Yeah.
Kick them in the nuts, maybe.
We can't even get the camera to keep rolling. So, But anyway, appreciate everybody for sticking around with us. This was episode 6. Until next time, I'm Jeff.
I'm Scott.
I'm Killer.
We'll see you later.
Twilight sucks.